but a community pavilion, you know, we were gonna come up with some ideas. I found, and this is kind of this, what I put together was something that Ed and Paul can take back to the CDD members, okay? And I said, well, if I had somebody giving me this, what would I need? So I started with the final master plan, and I said, here's where we're gonna locate this idea. Okay, so let's just kind of run through this real quick, and then we go back and talk about the specifics. But this was the initial master plan done by HM, I'm not sure who that is, but anyway, at all the meetings, this is what was agreed on. And there was an agreed upon pavilion of some type in that location. So this wasn't anything I made up, it was something that we all kind of like said, yeah, that looks good.
Yeah.
So let's keep going, and then we just lost it. Where is it?
There it is.
No, keep going, next page.
Okay.
How do we get there? Okay, so, you know, what I was asking for today was next page. Well, anyway, we were wanting to get this community pavilion on the books. We want people to recognize this is something, the Parks and Rec people all agree that this is something that would really make the park a better place. So this is a proposed Gateway Commons Community Pavilion, and that's one thing that we're calling it. Then I did you know, again, think of this as a little book. I did a table of contents for you, so you could take this information and run with it. So let's keep going. So the first is the concept statement, and it basically says why we need, and I don't want to read all this to you, but why we need a pavilion and what it could be used for. And I put a little color picture in something that I thought, a site plan, just to get you kind of going, okay, to make you want to read on, okay? Let's read on. Okay, so here are like, and I'm not gonna go through each one of these things, but there's uses that we could use this community pavilion for, and there's 24 that I came up with the help of my computer. Okay, because I typed in something on, if we build a pavilion, what can it be used for? And I got, you know, it enhances the green space, versatility and other events, programs that we're doing here, multi-generational appeal, and this doesn't appeal to kids or moms or older people. We could use it for picnic and outdoor parties. If you go on, you'll see 24 of these, and
Yep.
I think you can all read and would agree that it's hard to come up with something else. But I thought, you know, my next marriage would be at this. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to know my background. Appreciate that, Joe. Okay, but anyway, here we go with fundraisers, charity events, arts and crafts workshops, exercises, all, you know, barbecues, events. You know, it's something that adds to the park, the essence of the park. Because we don't all play pickleball.
Right.
Okay, could be just a place to go sit out and look at the what I call the pond. After I called it a pond, somebody went, no, that's a lake. It's a pond.
Okay.
Okay, keep going. Okay, these are other things that children's activities and playtime, playground time, educational workshops could be held there. Movie nights could be added to that part of the park. Art shows, book clubs. A lot of things we're doing now, but we're doing them wherever we have some open space.
Right. Yeah.
Cooking competitions, wedding receptions, there we go. Music performances, cultural events, dance events. And I kind of took all this information and what you guys said, and I said, I want to do something if I, you know, for some of you who weren't here, Ed had put together a bunch of pictures
Yep.
of things that he had seen. And I started going, well, that's pretty big. You know, it's like, what is it, Goldilocks, that's too big. Maybe this is, and this fits more, you know, so I tried to find something that we would all feel comfortable with. Dana was like concerned about size, and I was wishing she would be here because I listened to her probably as much as anyone else. And she offered a lot of good input last time. So if we keep going, farmer's market, you know, blah, blah, blah. Okay, community meetings. Okay, so here's the conclusion. Pavilions are more than just a shelter from the sun and the rain. They offer versatility and can serve as an ideal space for various outdoor events and activities, promoting community engagement and bringing people together. And so again, I was writing a synopsis of what you guys could say in your own words. Okay, and there's the bibliography reference of where I found some of this information. My idea, or the start of this idea, came from all of you, and it was to develop a conceptual community pavilion for the Gateway Commons Park. A pavilion that will be available to the residents for the majority of uses listed above. The structure should be simple, modern, economical, and architecturally compatible with the Gateway community. And those were words that everybody here said one of those words. Okay, we don't want to spend a lot of money, but we have to spend enough to make it worth doing.
Right.
Okay, so then I went through kind of my own little way of designing things, and I said, let's select the site location, which we have. Okay, but I started off with saying, there's a green sloping grass area, and there's water.
Right.
Water to look at, water to play with, water to whatever, and a place to sit and congregate. So then let's develop a building party, which is kind of an architectural term that says, this is the basic way we're gonna lay out your house. This is what we're gonna do.
Okay.
So I went through a number of different steps, A through H, and after I came back, I tried to illustrate that with these, but hold on, you're going too fast. Where the party is the first drawing, and I said, what size should it be? And it could be 20 by 20. I said 16 by 16 makes sense to me for the reason that it's two cars. If you look at the front of where I live in the villa, okay, you're talking about a villa, a double wide piece that's about 20 by 20, 20,
Right.
20, okay? And people sit out in their driveways where I live, you know, and so how many people can sit there? We have little parties every now and then, you know, about 16, 20 people, you know, it was comfortable enough. Okay, so then I said, let's put together a structure that's real simple. Let's talk about maybe some concrete block or some steel columns or whatever, and let's put some beams in, and that's what level B is. And let's figure out how tall should this thing be as a stage or as a platform. And I'm thinking slab on grade, you know, something simple, slab on grade, and basically then the columns on the corners, and then basically how do you enclose it? That's what C is, how do you enclose it with major beams, two major beams in the front and the back. And then you could enclose it, or you could open it or close it by, you know, I've seen, you know, like in, what is it, JV's restaurant, BJ's restaurant.
Right,
They have these
right,
sloping
Yep.
glass doors that
Yep.
they divide off spaces with. The whole front, this whole thing can be shut in
Yep.
with rolling glass doors, so that could be neat. And then with Ed's help, he showed something that
Like a pergola style.
had reflective, that was neat. I'll find it here in a minute. But it had reflective walls, which allowed the sound to bounce out into the area. There's these 45-degree walls and then a flat wall in the back. And, you know, it wasn't attached, it was just another wall that was in there, okay, that people could use as a backdrop to anything.
Yeah.
But it really also, it allows sound to be bounced out
Right.
into the area. So I put that in, that was part of the equation. And if you go to E, you start to see how the front beams and the back beams can be used to have rafter beams, and then you could put, I think, a tongue and groove so you can see it when it's done. Nice tongue and groove roof decking, and then a standing seam metal roof instead of shingles, which will be blown off in the first winds, or tile. I think tile is difficult. We have a tile roof, and you know, it's more expensive.
Right.
And also people can get up there and break it, so you have to replace it in certain ways. But there again, you see the sloping lawn and the pond with something sitting right on the edge of that. And then my idea diagrammatically was here are some diagrams of what I think it would look like. Okay. And here are all the conceptual design materials that we go to build it up. And this was not me designing it, it was just a concept of a design.
Right.
You know, they can
Right.
take it and give it out to whoever they have designing all their buildings, and whoever did their new building, what is that, Tetra Tech or
Yeah.
whoever. But the engineers or whoever wants to do it can get a hold of it. And then I put a community pavilion budget together, because I think it's gonna be like building a house. And one of the pavilion houses, okay? And I eyeballed it and kind of came up with numbers based on my architectural background. It said it's a little bit more than $500,000,
Bless you.
okay? And that's an educated guess.
Right.
What else? Oh, then a bunch of images of what it might look like from different angles, okay? You can see the pond, you can
Yep.
see the, you
Well,
can
you
see.
done a great job here, I like this.
And the pool is up on the other side, right? So the
The
water.
pool is one of those connector pieces, like when you keep going, I'll show you. Yeah, if you go this way, okay, where the guy's coming in here, if
Yep.
you go this way, it's going to the park.
Right.
If you go down the other way, it's going
It's
to
going to
the
the
pool.
pool.
Okay, and the parking. So this is the diagram, if you, to parking and pool,
Yep.
to the Commons Park. And that's just, you know, these little nodes along the way with the round cylinders. That was just my crazy idea of having light tubes or some signage of some kind.
Sure.
And making it a fun place to go.
Wow.
Good job.
I mean, amazing. Amazing job.
So you need to tell my little girlfriend I'm an amazing guy and it was worth me not being in the same room with her.
You got out of chores.
You
I
got out of
a lot
chores.
of stuff done. I love this is my fun life, okay?
Yeah.
Not arguing with people or trying to convince people to do something.
That's
Yeah.
it.
But this is my fun life. But
I-
that's the last, you know, and I put in enough images that you could take 2 of these or 3 of these, whatever you guys decide you need. You don't have to tell them anything more than just in your own words what we're trying to do here.
And if it was going to be used, David, for bingo or whatever, we'd bring chairs in, a table in, a stage in, this is just the frame,
This is just the framework of what it could be.
and then
You
bring
know,
in
we
chairs.
could bring in chairs and whatever, and put a little drum set up there, and then some guitars, and plug in that we would need the electronics for there. We would need some acoustics for there, like Gary put in the speakers over in the
Yeah.
pool.
Right.
We would need, you know, places, hose bibs and stuff to flush out the surface, you know, if somebody messed it up
Yeah.
after a barbecue. But yeah, all that could be figured out, and I think you put in enough things that you don't scare everybody away. And I don't think, you know, a $500,000 house in this area is gonna scare anybody away. And I think that might be a little high because we don't have bathrooms, we don't have kitchens.
Yeah, I was
We
gonna
don't-
ask about
we don't
that
have
estimate that
fancy,
seems high.
you know, tile, and I think it's concrete block, isn't it?
Right.
Mm-hmm, I
I think
agree.
it's concrete block with stucco, just
Right.
like the houses.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, you paint it every 5 years like they do the houses, at the same time they do the houses, and you be done with it, you know?
Yep. Amphitheater style. You just
I
it'll
think it makes
live
sense,
there.
guys, I
Right,
mean,
'cause
I'm
you
not
can judge
tooting
art
my own whistle,
contests,
but I think
you
this
can-
was a set, I did this 3 times, I got 3 different versions of it. Okay, I'm not gonna show you the other 2 on board, but I did 3 and I kept saying, okay, now what would I buy if I were on this board?
Right.
Well, the CDD people, you know, are gonna question you and they're gonna try to nickel and dime it, but the bottom line is,
I think that
this is about
Yeah.
as simple as I could make it. Yeah.
right, and I appreciate that. I think they will appreciate that. It's simple. I think the laying out of where it is really great. I'm a little concerned if we had like an aerial, like a higher view of this is the pavilion to the pool to where the park is going to be. That would be great.
I know it would, but I've never been able to get anybody to give me that.
I know, I know.
Okay, I can do that.
I know.
Aerial. Okay.
But-
But it would take, it'll take 20, 30 hours to,
Yeah, yeah.
to build up the pool and to do this and that.
Because when you think about it, being at the pool often, you know where the placement is, but I'm just concerned that they won't necessarily see from top down where we're talking about.
I think they would though, and I think that if they're not interested at all in even talking to us about it, then it would be a waste of my time.
Yeah,
And-
Yeah,
that's
that's a
true.
good point.
And that's what Chelsea always said, like, I'm not gonna show you a rendering of the building until it's done.
Right.
By then, it's too late, but, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I wish the whole park would be
I know.
three-dimensionalized, and it could. The engineers can't do what I did. So
Right.
if they had the programs and the ability, then they could have, you guys could be oohing and ahhing over pickleball courts right now. But right now, I'm going, pickleball, what do I need pickleball? And that's what I think would be, so I don't know how, except with the exception of having the master plan, which they pay for, and having the dot on there saying this is where we're gonna be, and they can go over there, I'm sure, Flavia will,
Right,
here.
right.
Okay, she'll go over there and
Right.
look and see, the rest of them won't.
Yeah.
The rest of them have not even been to the pool, except for Fourth of July.
I think it's phenomenal.
Anyway,
Good work.
Yes.
I can give you any of those images you want, need, and I can't tell you any more to say than what I've already said. So good luck.
So is the action, I hear him saying good luck, are you guys taking that to the Board of Supervisors? Okay.
Yep. So we're gonna present it to them and say this is,
So somebody ought to make a motion that you do that and,
Yeah.
and kind of when we should be doing it. I would hate to see this thing sit in the drawer for 6 more
no, I don't want
months.
this.
No.
Probably need to make a motion of taking a recommendation, but, and then if there's anything that they have questions with that you want to bring back, they maybe say, add, try this, try that, add this, add that,
Yep.
so.
I'll make a motion to bring Dave Ruth's concept of the community pavilion to the Board of Supervisors for proposal,
Change it to our concept instead of Dave Ruth's. And then-
our concept.
Okay.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Aye. So it's unanimous. Awesome stuff. That's really great.
So is that gonna go the next meeting?
So that'll go the next meeting. Yeah.
And that's you and,
Well, we'll
And-
go to the
Well, it's not next
Thursday.
Well, right,
Yeah,
right,
it'll go-
right. Not
it'll
this.
go to in
next-
March.
yeah.
March meeting?
March
Okay.
meeting.
March meeting.
Yes.
Which is after hours, right? So we wouldn't know the next time we come around, they wouldn't have read on this.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
If you go to the meeting,
But we're gonna meet again before.
Right.
before-
No, that's what I'm saying, if he goes to the CBD meeting, he'll know, because they'll basically,
Yeah.
you'll
Yeah.
see Paul hanging
Yeah.
in that tree.
No, what I'm saying is, we would have met here before that.
Before that.
Yeah,
Yes,
March,
yes.
correct, right.
This is number,
Okay, so this is 9B now, consideration of the name change for the fun park.
See, the other thing, one step back, the other thing about the budget, we don't have this thing in the budget, it's not in the budget, not
Right.
even thought of.
Not
by
even,
anybody.
right, brand
Okay.
new.
And there's things like that only, that's all I wanted to bring anybody's attention to, that if we, so we don't hear, oh, you missed, from April
Missed the date,
to
yeah.
September, they're gonna be talking about the new budget for
Yep.
2026.
Yep.
Okay, and if we want anything in there,
We
we
gotta
gotta
get it in
speak
there.
now, it's
Yep.
approved. Okay, and then they can say, no, we're not even gonna talk about that until 2028. Okay, well then, let's not waste our time talking about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, the fun park is our next thing. And basically, we came up with a concept of calling it a skill park. A skills park where we would have, basically a pathway which is more like, to me, a track. Okay, and then everything is developed as a framework off of that pathway. Okay, we can put a labyrinth in, we could have a Florida Nature Club, organized by the people in the communities that live by that or in Gateway. There's a lot of people interested in plants, you know, that don't know what plants to even buy, you know. So it would be nice to have somebody that we could go talk to, and some of those plants could be planted there and labeled, and people could go over and go, oh, that's what a so-and-so is. Okay, so that's the thinking, that down where, on the end where housing is, where, you know, we could put some gardens, okay, and places to play.
Yeah.
And then, you know, Ed at one time came up with a labyrinth, you know, I think a labyrinth would be cool because if it's a place to go, it's a place. And people from all
It's a
over,
quiet place.
not just Gateway, but all over can say, hey, you gotta go see that labyrinth. That's a really cool place. And it could be just hedges, it could be blocks, it could be, you know, stuff that people have thrown away that we end up, you know, there was an architect that I know that used to go around and he would go to all the, you know, anything that would be out in the garbage on the weekend, he'd pick it all up and take it back, and then he would build houses out of it. And they were really cool houses. But this could be something that we could design and dwell on and build, and it wouldn't take a lot, it would just take somebody's effort. Okay, so anyway, the idea is to have a track there, but to start off with, and that was asked last time, it was asked, I don't know who asked it, but, you know, can we put together amenity items that would like to get done for the 2025-26 budget cycle by Ms. Runyon? Okay, so in that little thing I put together, I put in, here's the pool,
Yep.
and here's the things that we had before that we talked about. Here's the fun park, and here are the things. And so I went through and prioritized what I would do, and had wanted you guys to just talk about it. Because I think, you know, one of the things is, we need a basketball hoop.
Yep.
Okay, that's one top priority for me as a
Right.
basketball player, and I play it every day. People aren't buying it. Okay, and then we need the playground, some things at the playground fixed for the kids, so they don't slide down slides and tear their backs up. Okay, and Carrie needs all that, to, you know, and again, maybe she has a slush fund of money somewhere, but that's all I will say. We also need this pathway to be put in immediately.
Right,
You know,
right.
so we have a framework.
A frame,
of where
a
we're
structure.
gonna do anything else.
Yeah.
And if they would only get that this year, we've made a major
Right.
accomplishment. That way people know, you know, they can,
Well, that,
I think you know, wanna know how far you walked.
right.
You know, not just
Right.
with your phone, but you wanna know, you know, it's a quarter mile. Or like if you're a runner, you wanna run a quarter mile, you run 4 of those, it's a mile.
Well, I also think when I was looking at this, doing the pathway first for me would be really important because it'll keep you interested too. As people come and walk the pathway and they see the development of other things within, you're going to keep on coming.
It's like the
gonna,
pool, it gives you something.
right. It gives
to
you something to look
for.
forward to
Right.
and contribute to. Yeah, I think so.
There, again, on the second page of this thing is the fun part. I think it's not for glasses on, but it tells you the existing basketball hoop, you know, the parking lot, anything needs to be fixed there, develop a new looped framework plan. Did you have a chance to talk to somebody about putting that together? That was part of.
For all that? For everything on there?
No,
Oh,
for
which part?
just the loop,
Oh, the loop?
yeah.
No, I haven't had an opportunity to do
All
that.
right, well, I'm gonna tell
Here's-
you this week how many lineal feet that is, and 6 foot wide, how many square footage that's gonna be, and have your estimator tell us what that's
Kind
gonna
of
cost.
a suggestion, okay.
Okay? Because it's easier for me to go pick, and it tells me how many feet that is.
Right,
Yeah.
Okay, then, because you know, most people can't do it.
Right.
Okay, so I'm gonna give that to you, so we can get that next time.
Okay. Sounds good. And I just want to clarify something. We're in 2025. We're going to be doing, we're going for the 2026 budget.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a lot of things that are gonna go forward in the new park facility for 2026. So I just want you to put it in your head that a lot of these things won't be able to go forward until 2027. Meanwhile, I'm trying to come up with something to do some repairs on the playground at the fun park, so that we can get through the next 2 years, so it'll be okay, so the kids have something to play with there. And then maybe 2028 or 2027, we try to go forward with a new playground there. But I'm just kind of putting that in a seed, planting that seed, that next year's gonna be a whole,
Yeah, we can't do everything all.
no, you can't, well, no, it's just no way, so.
But there's a number in there for $22,511,000. And that budget, I don't know what that buys at all. I don't know if we're talking 12
Okay.
pickleball courts.
Okay, it's gonna get very loud.
Okay.
I'd like to see that, those numbers broken down. So, you know, because everybody knows, Chelsea knows
Yep.
what's gonna be in this park. All the CDD people act like they know, but I'm not sure.
Yep.
But anyway, you know, how,
gonna
you
go.
know, is it, and I have a suspicion that this is just to get all of the,
It's gonna be loud.
land development done, to be able then to come in and put pickleball courts and all that stuff on there. That's gonna be another $2 million. Okay, so, you know, it would be helpful to know what this is buying. Otherwise, there's no point, and if we're not gonna talk about the fun park until
Right.
2027. And we're not gonna talk about the linear park till 2028, and all of these different things are gonna be on down the line.
Right.
Then I'll come back in 2028.
Did he say in 5 or 4-5?
In 5,
In 5.
so
Okay.
you might wanna,
Yeah.
Do
All right.
what?
before your ears start.
The
blowing.
alarm is going to go off in now about 4 minutes. All right.
This is it for this one, okay?
Perfect. Okay, so let's talk about the next meeting agenda, because it's gonna be before we present to the Board of Supervisors, right? So would you like to see, maybe we do a mock? Sorry, I tried.
I'm stopped, really.
And the air is not working in here, huh? It's super hot, I know, it's,
Freeze it up. Okay, go ahead.
all right. Okay, so next meeting agenda, do you wanna see exactly, something that we can do is give a mock as far as how we're gonna present to the Board of Supervisors? We'll go through exactly what we're gonna say to them.
In our next meeting,
Yeah, our next meeting,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it'll be the week before, so we could do that. We're gonna look over, I would also propose that we all look over Dave's packet on the deep dive for the financial report and bring questions there, because I think there's a lot in there that needs to be unpacked. And then I would also say, Carrie, as far as that timeline goes, if we could get that on some kind of paper, like written down somehow or in a chart, like what are we looking at? For me, I'm visual, right? So to see like, okay, if we're proposing an improvement to the fun park now, what is that timeline? You're saying 2027,
Yes,
right?
correct. So I'm just looking at using some of my operation money for the fun park.
Right.
To do the repairs.
So as far as like the things, structure that we want to do, like the walk path, for example, what are we looking at as far as timeline goes?
I would try to 27 or 28, you need to put that in. If you get the information to me, if you give me the linear feet, I could put a guesstimate of how much that's gonna cost and put it in the budget now,
Right.
for then. So it'll be a holding spot, do you understand?
Yep.
I'll give it to you tomorrow.
Okay. And I'll put it in, cause I've been putting in stuff, lights and you name it, I've been adding stuff out 5-6 years, up till 2031. So,
Okay. Do we have a date for the next meeting?
Thank you, honey.
it's a evening,
Yeah, and Carrie, I just noticed on the website, the CVD website, it has the time of the meeting at 1:30.
okay?
Needs to be changed.
Okay.
Yeah, we have, it's already in, the next meeting's already in here, March 4th, 6 PM.
At what time?
6 PM. Tuesday, March 4th, 6 PM.
Okay,
I think we've all had internal, discussions with ourselves about the time of the meetings.
Yep.
We put together 6 o'clock every other meeting, so you guys are, the people that work in the community would have a chance to come in and talk. You're the first 2 people that have been here in 4 months.
Oh, I was here in
Okay.
December.
Do
Yeah.
what?
yeah,
I was here in December.
Oh, yeah.
I was here
Yeah.
in December.
but the same two
It's not
people.
You all-
4
With
months.
the exception.
No, with the exception of you.
Oh,
You all
okay,
have been here,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
I didn't say that correct, but the
Yeah.
bottom line is, did you see anybody else?
Correct.
Right.
Okay.
So, you know, the discussion would be whether 6 o'clock is still an appropriate way to do. I was the first guy to bring that up and say, let's do every other meeting at 6 o'clock. Now I'm saying, does 6 o'clock work every other meeting, or should it be 1:30 all the time unless we have something major to talk about? Okay.
Either way is good for
Yeah.
me. Go ahead, oh,
I advocate to continue having 6 PM meetings.
Six,
Even if
okay.
people aren't here, at least it
Gives the
diffuses-
opportunity.
It diffuses the argument of I can't go because.
It's true.
Well, you better be here next 6 o'clock.
I'm just saying, that's a common comment,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
it
yeah,
does
good,
give
thank you.
people a chance, and it's maybe
Yeah.
just an advertising issue.
Right.
How do we advertise for this?
Thank you, I like that, thank you.
just one more comment on that. I think that's a great point. Is there any, again, getting back to the community Facebook page, is there any reason why I couldn't or anybody couldn't say, reminder, tomorrow's the,
They do that.
okay, I just haven't seen that.
Okay.
That, you know, tomorrow's the park and rec meeting, you know, da-da-da-da, 6 PM. You know, because usually I check that pretty regularly, and I just haven't seen some of those. So, I mean, I was just curious if it's okay to do that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I make a motion that you do that.
And I typically put it in my HOA's site as well, just to point it out to people. so.
Okay, okay. I don't ever you really use our HOA site, so I don't know if it.
I'd like to give this, for the record, this packet of information to you, Paul, so you'll have it to be able to put your presentation.
Thank you, sir. Awesome.
Those are my originals.
For the record, I have obtained the packet. Awesome. Anything else, folks?
Just one other thing, Paul, based on what you and I talked about at the beginning of the meeting, about keeping track of actions. So there was I got 4 actions that I heard today. Do we want to, is it worthwhile to add an agenda item that would be for us as a
Yep.
group to review the
Yep.
actions, the open actions? And I'll be happy to keep an open action log, you know, if you guys want, and then I could get that to Carrie each month, you know, if you
Yeah.
want to do something like that.
I would say almost That's a really great point. And for some reason, we have two public comments, right? We have number 4 and then we have at the end. And
beginning and the end.
I understand, but I would, within that, well, let's say this. I'd make a motion to remove the first public comment offering within the meeting and replace it with an action item follow-up for members.
We did that originally because there were people that
Right,
were mad and they came in and wanted to talk.
right,
Okay, so that was our first public comment.
right,
The second was after we had all said what we had to say.
right.
And we gave people a chance from the audience to stand up. We didn't have that before. So
Right.
that gave them a chance to say something.
And I like that. I
I
thi-
would be for adding what she's talking about, and you're talking about the action
Yeah,
thing. But I think it's still good, because none of the other committees that I go to have
two.
public comments at
right.
the beginning and the end.
Right.
And I think that's,
You think it's
I think
good?
that's a real mistake at the CDD meetings.
Yes.
Okay, because people get up and they talk about it, and then they.
You're not allowed to say
they
anything
ignore
else.
it.
That's
You're
it.
not allowed to say anything from that point on,
Yeah.
and they're talking about things that are really important.
Yeah,
And they say, you didn't fill out a piece of paper, or
yeah.
it's too late, you didn't say.
Okay, so would we want to put it in after the first public comment then? Where would we want to insert it?
I thought you were gonna insert it in place of,
Well, so I'll tell you what, I'll amend that motion to just add an action item line item, or an action review line item.
I'll second that motion.
okay.
All in favor?
I-
So I don't think it matters where,
It'll be number 5.
but it could be number 5.
Either
yeah.
5 or, yeah, 6, 8, 6, between 6 and 7.
Action item follow-up or action?
Action log
Yeah, action log, yeah.
review or something like that.
Then people will know what we're gonna talk about, and if they have something at the beginning. they
Right,
can-
right.
We
Okay.
may add
Action
to that just based on what somebody might
Review.
say.
Okay,
Sorry, Carrie, do you
I got
have
it.
that?
got it.
You got it, okay.
And I think to save Carrie some time, I don't know if she wants to do it or not, but you're gonna end up, this is all gonna end up going to Georgia.
Right.
To be typed into
To be
this.
typed
So
in.
Once you know where she is, you can get that to her. Fax-
Whatever
fax it
you
over.
prefer, yeah.
Yeah, just email it.
To Georgia or to you? Okay.
Georgia, you can copy me, so
Okay.
that I know what's going on,
Yeah.
but,
I think that would be hugely beneficial for everyone, right? Just to be like, oh, what do I owe this meeting? What do I, what, refocus back in, and then it'd be excellent. All right. If there's nothing else, we could adjourn. Everyone good?